bringing up a guy who averaged 5 points a game. I'm not going to stoop to his level. You average 5 points a game, shut the hell up.
Talking about basketball that don't know basketball. You got fools like Kendrick Perkins come dressing like a clown.
Stop bringing up a guy who's only putting up 5 points a night. I'm not lowering myself to his level. You average 5 points a game, just sit down and be quiet. Talking basketball like they don't even understand the game. And you've got guys like Kendrick Perkins out here dressing like a clown. Listen to this. Charles Barkley went straight at Kendrick Perkins on live TV, and Shaq didn't just sit back. He actually made things even messier. Perkins hopped on national TV and called Michael Jordan petty. Yeah, that Michael Jordan, 6 rings, never even lost in the finals. And the crazy part, it wasn't even really about basketball like that. That's why it sounded so wild the second it came out. And hold up, this whole drama started over free sneakers. Once Jordan Brand stopped sending Perkins those exclusive boxes, suddenly the greatest competitor ever is petty in his eyes. Barkley didn't just disagree, he went full attack mode, calling Perkins an idiot, a fool, and reminding everyone he's a 5-point player with no business judging greatness.
Let me say this, Molly. I keep J's on my feet. I used to get boxes in the mail all the time of the J's before they even hit the stores. As soon as I said that LeBron James was the GOAT, those boxes stopped coming.
Think about this for a second. What Perkins actually admitted on camera is wild when you break it down. One of the biggest sneaker brands in the world was literally sending him free gear before it even hit store shelves. That's access most players would never even come close to getting. But instead of showing appreciation, the whole energy flipped the moment those packages stopped coming through. Perkins turned around and called Jordan petty just for controlling his own brand decisions. This is the same Michael Jordan who built a sneaker empire generating over $7 billion a year. That's not petty, that's straight up business. Perkins couldn't separate being gifted perks from thinking he was entitled to them. And that's exactly what triggered Barkley the second he heard it. No hesitation, no soft take, just
bringing up a guy who averaged 5 points a game. I'm not going to stoop to his level. You average 5 points a game, shut the hell up.
5 points a game? That number turned into Barkley's favorite weapon, and he never stopped using it. And in his world, stats talk first, everything else comes second. Calling a 6-time champion petty while your own numbers wouldn't even survive a pickup run at the park, that's exactly how you get checked in public, and Barkley made sure it landed loud.
5 points. He was the glue, though. He was the glue. Lay that man alone.
The Philadelphia.
He got an opinion. Average a whole 5 points a game, and he was the leader.
And the way Barkley said. And the way Barkley delivered it, pure sarcasm, the kind that doesn't even need shouting because it cuts deeper than straight-up disrespect, especially in a league where everyone knows exactly what those words really mean. It's basically the polite version of saying you were never the reason people bought tickets. 5 points a game, that became the punchline, and it hit so hard because nobody could really refute it.
I need more. I know that.
I need more out of the great Kendrick Perkins. 4 points, 5 rebounds, and what? I'm going with OKC once the great Kendrick Perkins steps his game up.
The great Kendrick Perkins. Shaq said it with that over-the-top respect, stretching every word just enough to make the sarcasm obvious. Listen to this. Calling a guy with those numbers great on national TV changes the whole tone instantly. Then he pauses after mentioning 4 points like it's some legendary stat.
Perkins said 80% of NBA voters for the MVP award are white. The NBA publicly announces the voters each year, and after review, it is clear the panel is much more diverse than what was portrayed by Kendrick Perkins, and we wanted to make sure that we corrected that today.
That's a current NBA champion stepping in and calling Perkins a fool who doesn't understand basketball. Not some retired legend speaking off nostalgia. This is an active player still competing every night, watching Perkins on television and coming to a very clear conclusion. This man doesn't really know what he's talking about. Draymond made it clear there's a difference between media voices who actually break down the game and teach it, and those who survive off controversy because they don't bring anything else to the table. And he placed Perkins directly in that second category without hesitation. When current players, analysts, and Hall of Famers from different eras all start landing on the same opinion about someone's credibility, that says a lot on its own. And somehow, it still escalated from there. Perkins went on First Take and claimed that 80% of NBA MVP voters are white. That's not the kind of statement you just throw out and expect to slide. The NBA publishes that voter list publicly every single year, so once people actually checked it, the reality became obvious. The panel was significantly more diverse than what Perkins had described.
Lame-ass LeBron-Michael Jordan debate, which is lame. I've said for years, the only people talk about LeBron and Michael is people on television who got no talent to talk about anything else. I've been saying that for years. I ain't hanging on to the 90s. I've always said LeBron's great, Michael's great, but y'all talk about it all the time.
The correction had to happen live on air, and it wasn't subtle at all. That moment actually stood out because it marked the first time First Take ever had to publicly walk back a take during a live debate. Think about that for a second. A show built entirely on strong opinions, loud arguments, and non-stop disagreement had to pause and correct one of its own because the claim went that far off the rails. Letting it slide would have crossed a clear line, especially coming from the same voice that's been out here calling Michael Jordan petty. That's the level of credibility people were dealing with in that moment. But this whole situation goes...
Right.
You ever thought, what are you and Barkley taking shots at each other for? Why are y'all beef? And I said, she said, it's just stupid. So I reached out and he responded, Big Perk, man, hey, listen, you're doing an outstanding job. We shouldn't be throwing shots at each other. In the NBA Finals, man, let's link up and break bread.
And that's really the core of all of this. Whether Jordan is petty or not almost stops being the main issue here. A competitor like him turned every slight into fuel and every doubt into dominance. And that mindset speaks for itself. But Barkley's real argument is simple. Perkins never earned the right to sit in judgment of that level of greatness. The years weren't there. The grind wasn't there. The physical toll, the sacrifices, the wear and tear guys like Barkley and Jordan lived through, none of it lines up. A 5-point-per-game career followed by a microphone suddenly turning into authority? That's where the disconnect hits hard. And what makes this even more revealing is